Clerk Treasurer, can you please call roll?
I can. Counselor Schoon.
Present.
Counselor Mellon.
Present.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Present.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Present.
Council President Gardner.
Present.
All present and accounted for.
Okay, then if we can please stand for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And prior to swearing in our new police officer, I'd like to make one general announcement. We have a new deputy town manager that's attending his first council meeting tonight. Mr. Robin Streets, we welcome you to the town and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And you didn't have to get sworn in, but now we'd like to ask Jet Melania to come forward along with Wendy Miss to swear in our new Munster police officer.
Officer, welcome aboard.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. How do you pronounce your last name?
Valenia.
Valenia. Very good. Welcome to your family here as well. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming tonight. The oath of office is a promise to the community that you will serve to the best of your judgment and ability. The Munster policing model focuses on serving the community. When they hire, they look for the core of who the person is, for a strong desire to serve. The mechanics of being a police officer, such as emergency driving, handcuffing, use of firearms, can be taught, but who they are comes from their family and friends. Each officer takes a different path to our department. We've heard nothing but glowing things about you, so we're very excited to have you on board. So if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Indiana,
and of the state of Indiana,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duty of police officer
for the town of Munster,
for the town of Munster,
in the county of Lake,
in the county of Lake,
in the state of Indiana,
in the state of Indiana,
to the best of my judgment
to the best of my judgment
and ability,
and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
officer. Welcome
Thank you.
aboard.
Thank you.
So Robin, you're not the newest to.
Take your time here. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Now let's, we open the floor for public comment. This is in-person public comment is limited to 2 minutes maximum per person. Please keep your comments civil and conducive to public policy issues. This portion of the meeting shall not exceed 20 minutes. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak tonight? Seeing none, Mr. Anderson, is there anybody from the video world that would like to speak?
I have no indication, no.
Okay, then we will close the public comment section and move on to the consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda as given. I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments? Clerk Treasurer?
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Mellon,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Council President Gardner.
Yes. There is no old business. We will move on to the new business, which is the first order is ordinance number 1835, which is a smoke-free regulation for workplace and public places within the town of Munster. Mr. Anderson has a little background on this, or Mr. Westland. Who would like to give Mr. Vanderwoody? Somebody.
Mr. Westland's prepared.
So you'll remember a few years ago, we passed a smoke-free ordinance, which basically banned smoking of any type in the town of Munster, except for very limited grandfathered exceptions. What the ordinance before you today does, and you have both, you have the memo that I think Tom wrote, Tom's memo, you have the red line version of the ordinance that shows the changes that were made. You have the clean version, and then you have the Excel version for ease of comparison, which I know some of you like. So it basically comes down to allowing in section 1859 and making the changes there, and you'll see that's all red, but allowing for a cigar bar. And you'll see in that section that it allows for a cigar bar. You have to have 21 and over, you have to hold a liquor license. You can't permit other types of smoking. Your percentage of sales has to be from cigars. So it's a very limited exception, and that those exceptions that A through D is by statute. So the statute allows for you to ban it smoking entirely throughout the town, but it also allows you to make an exception for cigar bars. And if you do, you have to have these four kind of prerequisites. You know, you have to have signs. And so it's the same sort of, and I think, and Nicole wrote this, but she basically went back through, double checked your current ordinance with current statute, made a couple of tweaks to that where either the statute slightly changed, and so we brought your ordinance up to date, as well as providing for this exception.
Very good, thank you.
I move to consider ordinance 1835 on first reading and schedule second reading on second regular town council meeting on February 2022.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion, a second. Comments, questions, discussion on the motion?
So this would allow cigar bars throughout the town if they would adhere to this.
Well,
True barbecue.
yeah, you'd have to, there's a couple of things. Number one, you've got to have a liquor license, right? And there's limited ones of those. You've got to be zoned for the sale of liquor, retail sale of liquor. So you're already limiting your amount of spaces in town and zoning classifications where that's allowed. And then thirdly, you've got to follow all these exceptions or all these prerequisites to meet this exception. So it did come up either right before or during or after the study session. Mr. Anderson asked, you know, so can I have a proliferation of these? And, you know, we kind of talked about it a little bit at the time, but then going back through it, looking forward to tonight's meeting, the answer to that is no, because you need a liquor license, you need to be zoned to do it. And then you need to meet all this stuff here in red that you find in section 1859. So theoretically, could you have more than one? Yeah, but are you going to have them throughout town? The answer to that's no.
And out of curiosity, how does 2D get meant for? I understand this will be a new establishment that says during the preceding calendar year, at least 10%. Is that waived in the first year?
It's waived in the first year because there's no way to know.
I didn't know if that would have to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's an ongoing requirement, so it would kick in year 2 that you'd have to show. You could lose the exemption status if.
Okay.
You would lose the exemption status if you're just kind of, I mean, that would be kind of like subterfuge for some other sort of tobacco sales, but you can't smoke cigarettes in there, right?
So this would only be cigars
Right.
allowed in the.
I had one question. Unless I missed it, and I may have, but I don't think I saw that you couldn't vape inside. It just said, it called out cigarette smoking, but
It modeled after the statute, and I can look into whether we can further limit that as well.
okay. And then as far as the sales, the sale of the cigars, that's all they get. So they can't sell, even though cigarettes can't be smoked inside, they probably can't sell it either then, correct? Or not?
I don't believe there's a prohibition against selling a cigarette inside, but you can't smoke it.
Right. Well,
And
just so that it doesn't be, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be convenient enough for people to pull up and use it as a, a smoke shop to grab their, the quick. It's not gonna be that.
someone who's gonna do a smoke shop is not gonna get a retail liquor license.
Right,
He's
right.
not gonna go through that pain to do that.
He doesn't have one already in the end, so he only sells cigars at his other
So
location.
that's right, Okay.
Yeah, there is one, right, and that one I think is a good example, there's not. It's just cigars and alcohol. And food too, right?
Yeah, yes, it's something good, but.
Very good. Any other discussion with regards to the motion that's on the table, on the floor? Okay,
Ready?
roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Council President Gardner.
Yes.
5-0.
Okay, then moving along to item number B, ordinance number 1854, which is the amendment number 1 to the salary ordinance.
All right, this is, I'm just pulling this up here, so our audience can take a look at it. When we last met as a council, when you all last met as a council, after the meeting, we had an open to the public work study that was the culmination of about 6+ months worth of review and analysis among department heads, various town manager, myself. And we took a look at where we are as far as our salary in comparison to the market and as well as to other municipalities in Indiana. And we saw that we were falling a little short, and we had evidence of that by a department specifically losing 6 people in a short period of time. And a lot of it we thought was the result of wages. So a salary rate analysis was done. It was presented at the work study. Nothing has materially changed from the work study to here, but I did want to bring up 2 things of clarification. There is one employee whose grade changed downward, and that was per the department head. And it was a change in responsibility that had gone previously unnoticed. So we find that to be reasonable. And then the second thing is I just wanted to clarify that longevity is your time in the position. So if you move from grade 8 to grade 10, year 1 is the year you start grade 10, even if you've been a 10-year+ employee. And that's consistent with the police model. And so I just wanted to clarify that because that was something that we didn't talk about. And my original calculation was based on longevity, and then upon closer review, which we knew would happen, we knew there'd be some tweaks. That was one thing that came up, so.
But that's, you said position.
In position,
What if the position changes grade?
then it goes to how long you're in the position, so
Okay, so it would,
yes,
good,
yes. So you'll still keep your years if the.
you've seen earlier.
Exactly. So those were the only 2 material things. So we'd like to bring this before you for first reading tonight and hopefully second reading in February.
Thank you, Wendy. Is there a motion to hear this ordinance?
Mr. President, I'll make the motion to hear ordinance 1854 on first reading and schedule the second reading for February 21st, 2022.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Any other comments or questions?
Wendy, was there any feedback from department heads or anyone else since?
Nothing but cartwheels in the hallway.
Cartwheels?
People have been very pleased and receptive, very happy with just recognizing that they work hard and we need to fairly compensate them. So yeah, it's a very favorable response.
Yeah, good.
I've also received favorable comments
I'm glad to hear that.
out in the open.
Good. Good. And I didn't mention, but I think for public record, we should say that, we budgeted for this in our 2022 budget.
and we believe it's very sustainable, so.
And if anything, that correction you found about being in position at years in the position rather than longevity with the town, that would have shrunk the impact on the budget.
Yes, it would have. Yes, there's a handful of people that impacts. So, and most of them are still getting some kind of a move up, but it's just may not be as much as they thought. Unfortunately, but it's fair.
Very good. Other questions? Comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
With appreciation for the clerk treasurer and the staff, I vote yes.
thank you. Counselor Mellon,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis,
Yes.
and Council President Gardner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item number C, the NDOT invoice for the 45th grade separation project designation 0710056. Mr. Anderson?
This is a very simple change order, and it should be the last. We had Lee here kind of saying we're almost there. There might be one more, and this is the last one. Here's hoping. I'm going to knock on wood. This is to pay the Canadian National Railroad for flagman services. A flagman is the person who stands out and ensures that rail safety protocols are followed while construction is happening in the rail right of way. And that was going to be paid and has been paid by NDOT throughout the course of the construction. NDOT had allotted a certain amount of money to pay that function in force account labor. And the agreement that we have with NDOT says that we will pay any change orders in quantities or means and methods. But we don't have a contract to pay Canadian National Railroad. And if there's one significant takeaway in completing this project is it's impossible to get an agreement with the Canadian National Railroad. So they do deserve to get paid. They did the labor. No one's disputing that. But the fastest way to get that invoice paid is for the town to pay NDOT because NDOT has a contract with the town, and for then NDOT to remit payment to the Canadian National Railroad because they have a contract. Easy peasy, right? All contingent on your agreeing with that method of payment.
Mr. President, I move to approve payment for NDOT invoice quadruple 068899 in the amount of $2,987.50.
Second.
Very good. There's a motion and a second. Any comments? Questions?
Just tickled by the invoice number with 4 zeros, which implies that the department is expecting 10 million invoices.
Well, that is from NDOT, and they are a busy state agency, and it is the beginning of the year.
Okay, very good. Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
5-0.
Moving on to item number D, the low-income household water assistance program.
This came from our office. Occasionally, we are approached by a resident who's struggling to pay their utility bills. We have several tools that we have, several arrows in the quiver, if you will, Mr. Anderson, that include the North Township Trustees, the North Township Trustees Office, the United Way, as well as the Salvation Army. With ARPA funds, the state of Indiana has formed a low-income household water assistance program, and we have to sign up as a municipality to allow our residents to take advantage of the program. So it's just saying that we agree to take money through this program should our resident use this service. So we're asking for approval to enter into an agreement so that we can accept payment.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the low-income household water assistant program memorandum of agreement for the town of Munster to accept payment as part of Indiana's low-income household water assistance program.
I'll second.
Very good. There's a motion, a second. Comments? Okay, roll call.
Oh, I just have one question. It says eligibility is 60% of the state median income for at or below 60% of state median income. Is it something we can get some communications?
Oh, sure, we can definitely use the tool
There might be
you can use, and
tools you can use or something. There might be people who are eligible but unaware of this.
thank you. I will be certain that we can let them know. I'm making a note, just, and I'll make something up, because it is helpful that residents know that there are options.
Especially given changes that are coming in the water rates, it just might be more.
Exactly. Now, this is available while funds are still available from the town, from the state, or September 30th of 2023. So there is a end to it, but every little bit of assistance, if you need it, is a
Okay.
wonderful thing, so.
That was my only comment.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
5-0.
Okay, item number E, the Public Works purchase of the new 2022 front end wheel loader. Anything else that we need to have in addition to the memorandum that's in front of us?
No, sir. It's an essential piece of infrastructure.
Mr. President, I would move to approve one 2022 John Deere front end wheel loader from Westside Tractor Sales that is Sourcewell priced for a total price after vehicle trade of $148,100.
Second.
Motion a second. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen.
Yes.
Counselor Mellon.
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Counselor Gardner.
Yes. And our final item on the agenda is the authorization for payment to Spyglass.
This again was a collaborative effort. Back in July, we came to council and asked if we could engage Spyglass to perform an audit of our phone, cable, and internet services to seek recovery, service elimination, and cost reduction. Spyglass has completed the audit, and by all accounts, they've done an outstanding job finding funds that that we shouldn't be paying. So as part of that agreement, we have 2 invoices from them. The first invoice is for $4,041.68, and it has been reviewed and the cost savings have been verified as implemented. A second invoice for $58,585.92 has yet to be completely verified, as we're waiting for the February telephone bill to come so that we can see the savings. But based on what I've seen for the bill so far, it's all lining up. So what we're asking for is approve the payment to Spyglass for a total amount not to exceed $63,063.60 in 2 payments. The first one, Thursday, and then the second one upon verification of that.
So that last number may change.
It could go down, but I mean, I don't think it'll go up, which is why I'm asking for the very top. But yes, it could. I have not found any inconsistencies or discrepancies from what they've billed us. So, but yes, it could go down.
Mr. President, I would move to approve payment to Spyglass for an amount not to exceed $63,637.60. First payment in the amount of $4,041.68, and a second payment upon verification for $58,585.92.
Second.
Very good. There's a motion, a second. Any comments?
Just, this is $58,000 annually to the benefit. I know I had sort of, when this came around, challenged and, thought about the business model of this organization. It looks to be a great find. As of next year, we'll be saving that money.
Yes, we will. So we're excited, and it's not something that we'll do every year, but maybe every 5 years we'll swing back around, and hopefully it won't be that high, but.
And the 58,000 and some change, that is expected to be approved within the next week and a
I
half.
hope so, yes.
Okay,
Yes, in fact, they're anxious.
Okay.
And so they said, if you haven't got the bill yet, we'll get a copy of that bill to, the AT&T bill that I'm waiting for. So
Very good. Okay. Any other comments? Well, roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Mellon,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Counselor Kulturitis,
Yes.
and Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
5-0.
Brings us to reports. I don't see any reports. Any portfolio reports from the counselors? Okay, then announcements, February 14th, there will be no meeting. February 21st is our next town council and redevelopment commission meeting. In between there's going to be a special meeting February 23rd. It's called the Special Events Summit. It's an invitation or anybody in town that has a group, service organization, community group that wants to be involved in community planning. It's just our chance to bring everybody together to create a little connection between the different groups with regards to some of the special events that happen throughout the year. So this February 23rd at 7 p.m. here in the Munster Town Hall. Then on March 7th is our next regular town council meeting. After that council meeting, there will be a Civic Foundation meeting. The 14th, there's nothing, and then March 21st is another regular town council meeting. Any other comments? Then I'll invite a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we will quickly jump into our Munster Redevelopment Commission meeting. We have Mr. John Castro here, which is our, is it liaison?
Yes, sir. School board liaison.
Very good. I had to make you announce yourself. Sorry about that, John.
No worries.
We will, let's see, let's call this meeting to order. Is there any public comment for the Munster Redevelopment Commission meeting? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Yeah, let's take attendance. Did I jump over that? Sorry about that.
It's
How about if we have a call to order and take attendance?
very good. Commissioner Schoen,
Present.
Commissioner Mellon,
Present.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Present.
Commissioner Kulturitis.
Present.
Commissioner Gardner,
Present.
and our school board liaison, Mr. Castro.
I am present, thanks.
Sorry,
Nice
sorry,
to see
John.
you.
I skip over and then I don't even let you say you're here. Okay, consent agenda, and that's before you, please.
I move we accept the consent agenda as given.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoen,
Yes.
Commissioner Mellon,
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Commissioner Kulturitis.
Yes.
And Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
5-0.
Okay, then we have no old business or new business, nor do we have any reports, nor are there announcements. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
All right, a pleasure as always.
Then for the students that are here, I think you've completed your requirements. We are going to have another work study meeting that's going to take place in about 3-4 minutes here. But the students, if you need to take pictures or something, you can get those things taken